All right, welcome to Bonehead Weekly. Whose idea was this? And I'm not talking about the episode. I'm talking about like whose idea was this and why has it went on for 8 years?
More than eight now. Didn't we pass eight? Are we at eight or
Yeah,
are
it'll
we
be
past eight?
nine. It'll be nine in
Yeah.
July. Holy
However
cow.
old his
Yeah.
son is, because
That's exactly right. That's how I remember it. We started 2 weeks before he was birthed. I guess is the
Yeah.
name of what you say. I was about to say bequeathed, but I don't think that fits.
No, I
So,
mean,
Chad, you came up with this?
I did. Actually, this is an actual me I came up with. I have been slow on the ideas as of late, and James has been picking up the slack. But I
Well, you
actually
have
came
been
up,
battling consumption.
yeah, and honestly, that's why I came up with this one. So we're talking about hospitals, movies that take place, or movies and TV shows that take place around the hospital, because I am currently battling. I'm on the tail
Consumption.
end of a serious lung infection that had me down for about 7 days. So that's why I'm not going to talk too much today because I can't catch my breath.
That's also the reason
Um,
why we went ahead and had him do the intro because I thought if there's
yeah,
any time he was going to do the intro, then this would be the time to have
yeah.
him do it because,
Um,
you know,
so I came up with this idea because I almost got admitted to a hospital, and I was like, "Oh, it's a good topic that we've never discussed."
yeah, rookie. So what's your first pick or do you need a breath?
You go.
You go. James, you got yours ready?
sure,
Or
I'll
throw it back.
start off. I think it's one of my favorite hospitals of all time. And matter of fact, there's two of them. There's two of them. It's hard to beat the Kingdom or the Kingdom
I knew
Hospital.
exactly that's yeah, Kingdom Hospital. I honest I was going back and forth about my first one, that one too. Do a
It's
guy a
it
solid, James. Do a guy a solid.
well, and I love the original Lars von Trier one, uh, which I found out by the way, the Kingdom when they translate it from I believe Danish into German for the German release, they had a problem. Do you know what the translation of Kingdom is directly into German?
No, I don't.
The Reich. And they
Uh,
decided that it needed a different thing. So I think over there it's called the Phantom Hospital or something like that. But um, if you've never seen the original Lars von Trier one, the it's actually a trilogy there. It was divided into a trilogy, but I've seen the first part of the trilogy, which was the original Kingdom. And if you've ever really needed to see the a woman give birth to an adult size Udo Kier, this movie was made for you. It is one of the most compelling, weird scenes of all time. And Stephen King adapted it for American audiences, and I'll actually say he made it his own, except for the idea that it's set at a hospital. It's really weird. The opening of Lord von Trier's talks about the land that it's on, and because of course, um, that land had an ancient history that is better explored than most American audiences would know about the land here. It's very, very different. Basically, it was a site of all these different things that happened and people gathering and stuff like that. None of it's witchcraft or anything. It's just like, oh, there was a mill here and it burned, and there was a. That's not the American one, but both of them are wonderfully surreal movies, basically about a haunted hospital.
right.
And the idea is that something about this hospital, I would argue Stephen King's is a little bit more funny, surreal, what with the talking aardvark thing.
You do me a
Um,
solid, I'll do
I'll
you
do
a
you a
solid.
solid. And it has a much more fun soundtrack too, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Uh, Red Dragon Tattoo and whatnot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
It's just about on me.
it also reflects things that actually, I mean, there's a character in it that pretty much is Stephen King, is an author that got ran over while he was out for a run. Um, Sets up the thing. Whereas in and there's a lot of commentary in the American one about the American healthcare system that's obviously not in the original Denmark set film. But both of them are wonderful explorations of what is a haunted hospital, what does it mean, what does it look like. And the great thing about both of them is that they both explore in very different ways how weird it is to want to work in a hospital in the first place. Like there are weird people in both of these shows. Um, doctors that aren't good at their job. I think Joe, by the time this probably is uploaded, will have interviewed one of the doctors on the show.
Okay, Begley Jr., yeah,
Yeah, on the American version.
this
But
Saturday.
yep. But then the British, or I'm sorry, the Danish version, it's very, very good at showing how weird and how surreal it is that people, there is something. It's, and I admire. By the way, I'm not attacking doctors. Please, I'm going to need several of you. Uh, but uh, how weird it is to think about wanting to be in a place where death happens all the time, and so the Danish one plays a little bit more with that about why is this a weird gathering place for people that are, willingly surrounding themselves with illness and death and all those surreal things. So, yeah, if you haven't seen The Kingdom, uh, I'm sure I'm mispronouncing it because I don't speak Danish, but Reget in Danish, or the Kingdom Hospital in the United States, the Stephen King version. Both are worth checking out. They're a lot of fun. I actually need to pick up the Kingdom trilogy. It's been re-released in the U.S. It used to you could only get it on VHS. VHS Kids was a square thing that
Oh
you
my
put
God,
in.
it's still going. You
I'm
you
sorry. I'm
didn't you
trying to.
didn't get you
I'm
didn't get pneumonia. You lost your breath to James.
I well, that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to fill time so this episode will still hit 45 minutes and Chad won't have to talk as much. I got your back,
Oh,
Chad.
I thought you were going to say this episode will actually hit 45 listeners.
Oh no, no, sir. I can't guarantee that. We could have a clone of Joshua Gabor nude eating pretzels, and I don't know if we get 45.
All
Why did
right,
I go with that? I
there
don't
you
know.
go. There you go. I'm going to go with something that's really obscure that I saw way too early and have no idea, either early or mid-teens. Didn't understand it, couldn't comprehend it. Then later found out about the director. His name was Samuel Fuller. And if you don't know who Sam Fuller is, that's okay. He was a B movie director in the 50s, 60s. But he did go on to make a couple of movies towards the end of his life. And he actually was a character actor, helped people write their screenplays. He's an interesting guy. I read his autobiography, Knew Jim Morrison. So he's probably most for the Big Red One, a World War II movie, and then a really controversial film that actually never was finally released. Do you guys know about White Dog? It's about a dog. It's a white dog that's trained to attack African Americans.
Nope,
That was the movie's called White Dog. It's really
never
good.
heard
It's
of
got Paul Winfield in it. What's her face? I can't remember. She was a TV star. And it didn't get released for many, many years. And now Sam Fuller's, I think, I watched it a decade ago. And now it's not as controversial as it was at the time, but because clearly he was he was anti-racism. So Sam Fuller did a movie called Shock Corridor. And I actually missed it's 1963. It's in black and white. It's about a guy that goes into an insane asylum to kind of figure out a murder mystery. And a lot of his movies are really weird. And Scorsese has more than once said one of his biggest influences on Shutter Island was Shock Corridor. It stars Peter Breck, and I couldn't remember the guy's name. I just remember he was the one brother that it wasn't Heath on the Big Valley. James will get that a little bit more, no offense, than Chad probably will. He was like the vicious one. Like, I'm going to go out and do. He was that, and he went in the banker, the smart one. See, James like, yep, Big Valley.
Yep.
And he goes in, and what is just emblazoned on my mind because I didn't understand it, and it's got voiceover in it, which is so weird in a black and white film in 1963, where you'll hear characters' thoughts, and he gets trapped in this room with all these women, and it was the first time I ever heard the word nympho because he was trapped in a whole room full of nymphomaniac women. Why this would be this way, I have no idea. It's not as tawdry as actually as it sounds. But if you've never seen Shock Corridor, it is a really weird little movie. Every once in a while, most of the time, almost all the time, Chad and James do a better job of coming up with obscure things. But I really wanted to talk about this one, and I didn't think a lot of people had heard of it. Chad.
it. So, my approach to this was trying to come up with movies that I hadn't talked about again in the past over the 300 some odd episodes we've done.
And when we in 400?
We're at 400 now.
We're over in 400, buddy. I don't know where you've been. Currently, check the fuck out the last nine
So,
years. Yeah. How you doing?
Yeah, pretty much. I want to talk about Critical Condition starring Richard Pryor.
I've only ever
So
seen
if
scenes from that.
really,
Yeah, I've never seen it all. I should have.
I'll for you full disclosure, it's not his best work.
Hmm.
But it has its moments. If you're not familiar with it, so Richard Pryor is a con man who is being he's going to be arrested because he actually got framed for a crime he didn't commit. Um, and he's sent to a hospital because he's trying to plead insanity so he doesn't go to jail for a long time for this crime he didn't commit. And they send him to a hospital to go through a psychiatric review, and he is confused for a doctor. And so he just decides to go along with it and pretend to be a doctor, and then chaos ensues, and he has to wiggle his way around all these professionals trying to pretend he's something that he's not. And of course, like I said, leads to comedy after comedy. I do want to talk real briefly about it. It's one of these. It's one of two movies I'm going to talk about that has a pretty star-studded cast. I mean, Ruben Blades, Rachel Ticotin are both in this. Joe Montana, Randall Tex Cobb, and playing in one of his early roles, and actually I think it's one of the only straight roles he ever did. Bob Saget, who is not doing a comedic performance in this one.
He's like
So
the young doctor, right?
exactly.
Okay, I couldn't remember. I was trying to. Maybe I have watched it all.
I also got to mention one of my favorite character actors of all time. May he rest in peace, John Polita. So,
Huh.
but yeah, that's my first pick. Critical Condition.
James.
I'm going to do a 2-4, but they come from the same source material. And since we talk about, film a lot, but we also do other pop culture thing, I want to talk about two hospitals that if you wake up and you're in either of these hospitals, get out. And if you can't, it's too late anyway. I want to talk about, and I'm sure I'm going to mispronounce this because I've it's been so long, but the Alchemilla Hospital and the Brookhaven Hospital. Now, if you don't know what those are from, it's okay. There's only been one movie, I think, that mentioned, yeah, it's only in the first film, but it's throughout the series, and that series is Silent Hill.
I
The
wouldn't
Silent
have
Hill
known that
video
off the top
games
of my head.
use hospitals quite a bit. So Alchemilla Hospital is in, and let me get this straight. It's in Silent Hill Origins, Silent Hill Homecoming, Silent Hill Memories. It does appear in, it's the one that is mentioned in the film, I believe. And then there is a quote unquote play novel phone app thing, which is mentioned. But it is basically here that we do see a lot of weird things happen. And so it's first introduced in Silent Hill. And the original story for the first Silent Hill game is not what we see in the movie. Silent Hill originally follows Alessa Gillespie, who was taken there sometime after her mother, Dahlia, decided to use her in a ritual and set the home that she was in on fire and left her as a sacrifice. She survives. However, when she gets to the hospital, instead of getting treatment, um, she kind of she's kept in a room in the basement. And then they sealed the basement, and everybody's told, "Do not enter the basement; it's not safe down there." And then the protagonist eventually, of course, finds his way to the basement and finds where she was hidden. So that's the story of this hospital. It's basically that they were maybe in on it, maybe they had something to do with the guy that had a pyramid for a head, whatever they've got going on there. Now, Brookhaven Hospital was the other hospital that appears in the game. It appears in Silent Hill 2, 3, and the arcade. Um, I'm sorry, and it appears in the film, not the other one. I'm sorry. Brookhaven is the one that appears in the film. Um, Brookhaven, though, is not equipped as a hospital should be. Whereas the Alchemilla Hospital at least tries to pretend to be a medical health, or I'm sorry, yes, a medical health institution. Brookhaven is basically a cover for a mental institution, um, where they do a lot of terrible, terrible things. Matter of fact, they have no interest in curing you. They want to keep you alive long enough to embezzle as much money from they can and experiment on you. And that's kind of the two. And so I wanted to bring up Silent Hill because I think the fact that the video game series as a whole and the first movie has so much to do with being in and around medical centers. And so you can't have a Silent Hill game without a hospital, it seems, or at least references to one. And so, as we were talking about hospitals, I thought we might as well bring up
Yeah.
the fact that, Pyramid Head and a bunch of goons and ghoulies and bad doctors who just want your insurance money, which luckily are completely fictitious and never happen in reality, are
I blame that
hanging
rock and
around
roll.
Silent Hill.
Yeah. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm going next with something I haven't seen in a long time. I hadn't thought about. One, it's weird when you try to Google best hospital movies because you know what it actually tries to give you. And I was going to argue this point, but I'm not. I think we can make it through. It's movies that deal more with disease.
Right.
Hospital movies, not so much. But this is something I saw when I was really young, and I actually really liked it. And I haven't seen it in a long time, and I'm curious if either one of you all have seen it in a long time. Do you guys remember Awakenings with Robin Williams and Robert De Niro?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Has anybody seen it in a minute?
No.
Probably
I
about
wonder how that
15
holds up.
years.
Oh, I'm sure it's been longer than that for me. Wonder how it holds up. I really enjoyed that movie. I actually was looking it up. I forgot Penny Marshall directed it. I just remember that. So if you've not seen Awakenings, it's based on a true story. And if you're not watching this, I rolled my eyes because sometimes that is an interesting thing. In this one, they had to have taken liberties. The patients in this hospital are in some sort of catatonic state. I was reading the description, but I didn't think it did a very good job of the way I remember it. And they basically give them a drug that's used for Parkinson's disease. It's just Dr. Sayer played Robin Williams, and it awakens these people up from their catatonic state. It doesn't last forever. They eventually go back into it, but it's apparently based on something that happened with a drug test. I doubt that they got up and done all that. It's a kind of a heartfelt movie. It's a different kind of movie for Robert De Niro that I don't know that he did a lot of. He ended up doing a lot of comedy, but not a lot of this because he and the doctor, they're the main protagonist, and he's one of the ones that kind of wakes up and he's missed his life and all the things he has to deal with. So they've all been in comas for like 20 some years. It's been a minute. So if you've never seen it, watch Awakenings and message me and let me know. Is it good or is it just blah? Chad.
I am freely going to admit that this movie is not good. In fact, it's pretty terrible, but I want to talk about this movie simply because as a child, it had probably the best VHS cover in the history of VHS sleeves.
There
Uh,
is no hospital in Johnny Mnemonic.
so for
Or
those
bleeders.
so for those who may not remember or wasn't alive at that time, VHS tapes came in a cardboard sleeve that you would slide them out of and put them into the VCR.
Yes.
I want to talk about Brett Leonard's The Dead Pit.
I've never seen it.
It's worth at least watching once.
That's the same. It's the Brett Leonard's the guy that gave us the Lawnmower Man, right? Same guy.
Yes, same
Okay.
guy.
And that movie that
And
you
he
all
also gave us
love,
Virtuosity and Hideaway
and Man Thing, because you
and
guys said that was so close,
James did.
so
Uh,
good.
and of course, he also directed Highlander, The Source. Um, but no, so the Dead Pit, it had the coolest VHS tape of this zombie coming out of the ground, but the case was 3D, so it was like popped out of the VHS case, and if you pushed its head, the eyes lit this glowing green thing. I thought it was so cool. Then I rented the movie, and it was the exact opposite of that case.
Are you telling me they put something on the poster that wasn't even in the movie?
Not a poster, VHS case.
Did they put something on the VHS case that wasn't even in the movie?
No. So if you're not familiar with the Dead Pit, and a patient with amnesia arrives at a psychiatric hospital, where they're trying to he's there to try to get better, but he accidentally frees the spirit, not the spirit of, he actually tries to free him. He accidentally frees the mad doctor who's hidden inside of this hospital. Um, and he's creating all these weird experiments, but it also results in him bringing out the dead that he's been experimenting on. It is, it is not, cannot stress this good, but it does have some cool effects in it. And the creatures are pretty entertaining. So if you're just in the mood for a B horror film, which sometimes I am into, I highly recommend The Dead Pit.
Okay. All right. Bring us home, James.
Man, I'm torn, like Natalie
Natalie
Imbruglia.
Imbruglia.
Um,
Yes.
because there's a couple I want to talk about, but
Well, can you do it
oh
in 30 seconds?
no, I can't. I'm oh man. You know what? I'll start with I'll do the other one I'll say for an honorable mention because I don't have anything I should say. But I do want to say, and I don't know why I'm going with two of mine have been from horror franchises. Um, Silent Hill being a video game horror franchise. This one though, I'll go back to St. Eustace Hospital. You kids love St. Eustace Hospital if you like Saw, particularly Saw. What is
Sauce,
five,
I,
six in 3D.
I don't know. I've
All
lost
have
track.
yes, all have St. Eustace Hospital in it. It is where after spoilers, after the death of John Kramer
He
and
died?
his successor, um they end up well his successor doesn't die. They end up taking the victims. They're being treated at this hospital. That is St. Eustace Hospital. If you've seen the movies, you know what I'm talking about, but it does feature several of his victims and they're being rehabbed and all of that stuff. There is and they have to fake the death of one of the police because she's at risk and all of that stuff, et cetera, et cetera. I'm not going to go through the plot of the movie,
Sounds like
but
you are.
what's real? No, that was just the intro, dude. I could. You want me to do the all three movies? Because that's just the
Nope.
opening of Saw 5, I think. Anyway, so of course, as you can guess, the apprentice is going to come back and try to tie up all these loose ends. However, the reason I think it is really my wife and I used to go see all the Saw movies because they used to come out near Halloween every year. I think that stopped with 5 or 6.
I don't know.
Uh,
Well, I think it stopped when they stopped making them, but yeah. And then they made
um,
another one. Well, yeah, but anyway.
well, it we probably stopped when my daughter was born and couldn't get out that often.
Yeah.
But the reason I think it's really interesting is if you know anything about St. Eustace, it's an excellent play on words or play on Catholic dogma, I guess.
Hmm.
St. Eustace is an appropriate name for the victims of Jigsaw to go to. St. Eustace was the patron saint of torture victims.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so her, yeah, so it's actually, it comes from St. Euthios, because he was tortured to death for his faith after being burned alive in a bronze bull by the Roman Emperor Hadrian. Burned
Hmm.
him alive for being Christian. And so he is the patron saint of torture victims, which makes the naming of the hospital, St. Eustace Hospital, an excellent nod to the fact that if you thought the torture was over, it's still at the hospital. And so anybody that knew that as soon as they're like, take him to St. Eustace Hospital, we knew. We knew what was coming. So yeah, I think that's actually one of the more interesting hospital names in a horror movie because if you know that bit of trivia, it's a lot of fun to just have that nod to, oh, these people are getting tortured even more at the hospital. There
Okay.
you go.
I'm up next. I was having a hard time with this. This is an obscure one. This is off of HBO in 2004. I never know the story. Another based on a true story. I think this one's a little more close to it. Have either one of you ever seen this movie? So basically, it's about the true story. I'm so sorry. Something the Lord made. They have these blue
Mhm.
babies, and the doctor, is Alfred Blaylock, sorry, played by Alan Rickman, is a cardiologist, and he has a assistant who's an African American, and they go to John Hopkins to work on what they were called blue babies, these babies that needed to die without
I'm
surgery.
gonna forgive me, but I only know him by his first name, Most Def. He goes by his real name now, but it's Most Def, right?
Yeah, Most Def is the assistant. So you've seen it,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it deals with all the Jim Crow and all the stuff in it too. And Most Def, his character, and I was actually with Jad trying to pull it back up here because Yasin Bey, right? Yeah,
Yeah, that's right.
Yasin Bey. It's two eyes. I'm not for sure. I'm not
I
trying to
can
be.
never remember it. All I
I
remember him
don't.
as Most Def.
Yeah, same here. So anyway, my computer lagged for a bit. So if you've not seen it, it's about that, and the Most Def plays a character who he brings with him, and nobody can kind of understand because he's not college educated. He's not a PhD, but he does have um, excellent hands, and he helps with the surgery and helps build the tools. And anyway, there's a ton of movies we could have talked about, but that was one that's really interesting, and especially because it's about the first heart bypass. And it is a little rough because they didn't just start on people, so there's dogs and other things, and it just kind of shows that. And I always remember there's a joke in it about that I forget that how far we've come with antacids in the last 80 years. Like that was there's a comment where his wife says that you could take one of those chalky antacid things that they now came out with. You're like, shit, this is the 40s, the 60s. What were the poor bastards doing before them? But anyway, that's my pick.
So I'm gonna go off real quick, and it's bad for the guy who can't breathe, who's going off on a tangent. I was looking up information on a movie, and then that led me to click on Gung Ho because it was in the recommendations.
It's a good movie.
Did you know it was a TV show spinoff?
The movie was a TV show spinoff?
There was a TV show spinoff of Gung Ho,
Yeah, I did, but I've never seen it, and I don't even
and
know.
in the role of it had the same Kaz was still played by Jide Watanabe,
Mhm.
but Michael Keaton was replaced by Scott Bakula. Anyway,
There's worse choices, I suppose.
yeah, Article 99 is my last pick.
I have that's one I saw when I was really young,
I
and I
really
don't
liked it.
remember anything about it.
I really liked it when I was a kid, and I went back and watched it a few times growing up. I watched it I know I watched, it's probably been 18 to 20 years since I saw it last, but the last time I watched it, I really did enjoy it. And it's mainly because it is, so if you're not familiar with Article 99, it's about doctors at a veterans hospital who are trying to take care of the patients who all are former uh, uh, people in the military, and they can't take care of them at the rate that they're supposed to because of government cuts, and also a horrible the guy running the hospital played by John Mahoney from Frasier, who is playing one of the most absolute worst scumbags you could ever see in a movie. Um, and they're trying to take care of the patients as best as they can with what they have available to them. It is a really great movie. But it's also known the cast on this is stacked. I mean, it is. I'm going to try to get through this because it has such a great cast. I want to tell you them because I hope people go out and try to find this movie. Ray Liotta and Kiefer Sutherland are the stars, right? But then it's Forrest Whitaker, Leah Thompson, John C. McGinley. I mentioned John Mahoney, Keith David, Kathy Baker, Eli Wallach, Noble Willingham, Julie Bavasso, which if you look her up, you go, oh, I did not know that was Julie Bavasso. Troy Evans, Lynn Thigpen, Jeffrey Tambor. That is an amazing cast. Um, so I highly recommend going and looking up Article 99 just because again, it's all these wonderful actors, character actors, just giving it their all for a movie that didn't get a lot of play back in the day.
Yeah. John C. McGinn, I almost said John Mahoney actually played an asshole in a bunch of movies. We just always remember him as Frasier's dad.
Yeah.
He's the scumbag in what's the one that got Edward Norton on the map? It's a really good movie. It's not Presumed Innocent. What is it called?
Primal Fear.
Primal Fear.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, he's really
really
good in that.
is a really that's a really good B, like, yeah, it's a really, if you've never heard of it, but yeah, he plays a scumbag in that too.
Yeah, he plays a lot of scumbags.
A lot of scumbags. All right, honorable mentions, folks, before
Uh,
Chad has to take another
I am
pill.
going to bow out because there's just too many and I can't catch my breath. So,
I will run through some, and Chad, hopefully I'll hit some of yours. I'll do this quickly. I have to mention Haddonfield Memorial Hospital because it has one of the best
That's true. That's
shot
a good one.
scenes.
Yep.
I got to mention that one. Um, the other hospital of note from the Saw franchise is the Angel of Mercy Hospital, which is involved in the origin of Jigsaw, if you know that one.
Hmm.
The Baltimore State Hospital for the Criminally Insane is in The Silence of the Lambs. Oddly enough, in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, the hospital is not named, but it was actually filmed at the very real Salem, Oregon State Hospital. So that's where it was actually filmed. I wanted to give that. Um, I don't want to make people upset that I mentioned Silent Hill because, and I didn't mention Raccoon City Hospital for you Resident Evil people.
Yep.
Um, let's see, what was the other one I wanted to mention?
Well,
Oh,
while you're thinking about it, we've got to mention some of the ones that you're like, well, why didn't he talk about this? We know that One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest exists, right?
yeah,
And that is an excellent choice. Probably didn't pick it because it was a little bit on the nose. There's also a really good George C. Scott movie directed, I think, by Arthur Hiller called The Hospital, where he's the
hospital.
hospital administrator and it's goofy and everything that goes crazy, and it's probably just as accurate as it ever was now. I haven't seen it in a long time.
And by all means, we know MASH exists.
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, so I'll run down the television one. If I leave one off
Oh my
that
God,
you
there's
wanted to
so
mention,
many
Chad,
TV. There's a whole other episode.
Sacred Heart Hospital for you Scrubs people.
I ain't
Saint
no scrub.
No, well, in this economy, if you want to save gas, you will hang out
I've seen the meme.
St. Eligius Hospital, best known as St. Elsewhere.
Yeah, I never
Uh,
watched.
Gray Sloan Memorial Hospital for you Grey's Anatomy people. Hope Zion Hospital for Saving Hope. Gaffney Chicago Medical Center from Chicago Med. Pittsburgh Trauma Medical Center for you Pitt people. Chad mentioned the MASH 4077 Mobile Army Surgical Hospital. And the one I wanted to mention that almost was my third pick because I do enjoy it because they tried to make a cyberpunk aesthetic crime thriller and darkly humorous movie, and it didn't hit like I hoped it would, but I still had fun watching it. If you're a criminal and you need medical treatment, you better make your way to Hotel Artemis, where Jodie Foster is going to
Yeah,
fix you up while Dave Bautista watches your back.
yeah, yeah. It doesn't
Hotel
work.
Artemis was a lot of
It,
fun.
it is. It's fun, but it doesn't work. Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
I'm going to be kind of shocked James didn't mention three hospitals from TV shows. He forgot to mention ER,
I know.
Chicago Hope, and Children's Hospital.
Oh,
Um,
Children's Hospital. I completely forgot. What's the actor in that? Oh,
Rob, no,
Rob Corddry.
Rob
yeah,
Corddry.
thank you. Oh, yeah. Ch-
The only one I want to briefly mention, and I've mentioned it several times in the past, and I don't know if either one of the boneheads have still seen this yet. If you want, I highly recommend everybody at least once check out The Ninth Configuration, the movie written and
Yeah,
directed by
of
William
course.
Peter Blatty.
We've talked about it
Uh,
on here.
I know I couldn't remember if you all had seen it though.
Yeah, it's so
So
batshit crazy. I'm sorry, you're
I,
losing your voice, but it's so
I
batshit.
it's so
And
batshit crazy, but it is batshit crazy in a wonderful way.
it,
I
it
highly
work.
recommend.
It really works, but it's bad. And William Peter Blatty, I'm so sorry, Chad. You want me if you want me to help you, is the writer of The Exorcist. This technically was his follow-up because it follows the astronaut from The Exorcist, which is mentioned in the movie if you've never really read the book. It is so nuts because they are nuts.
Yeah,
And it's often so misbilled as a horror film, and it's the furthest thing from it. I mean,
yeah.
there's psychosis, and it can, I guess you could say, it's really hard to put a label on that movie because a lot of people would say it's a psychological thriller. I don't know. To me, it's almost a dark comedy.
And I still, in a lot of ways, think James mentioned it earlier, but I still think Martin Scorsese's took some of Shutter Island from the Ninth Configuration.
No, well, yeah, I said Shutter Island earlier when I was talking about,
Oh,
but yeah, it's
Oh,
there.
James, is sorry.
That's
no.
okay. James is longer to say than Joe, so no wonder you dying of pneumonia with a long breath just to
Well,
get one
but
last stab in me, you bald fuck.
One more honorable mention I will say, though, I don't remember the name of the hospital, but you mentioned Martin Scorsese, and now I'm thinking about Bringing Out the Dead, which has a lot of hospital scenes. Um, which is God, I love Bringing Out the Dead. That's one of my yeah, so
It's
good.
not a guilty pleasure. That movie is amazing.
I need to go back and watch it. I did
Jay, two of the three boneheads love it.
I haven't seen it though since I haven't had key lime pie. I was a different man then. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
Well,
There's
I
like
mean,
three people out there going, "Oh my God, Natural Born Killers! You've seen that?" All right.
yes,
I thought you were making a Dexter reference.
Nope. 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 Natural Born
I thought you
Killers.
were advertising Publix to get them as a sponsor.
If I did, it would not be. Well, yeah, I'll say whatever they want, but my
Yeah.
preference would be
He'll-
key lime mango.
Dance, monkey, dance.
Dance, dance, the magic dance. The bunch of ones in my G-strap. All right, this has been Bonehead Weekly.